committee today. After the action items, the committee will go into executive session to consider one student appeal. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of April 4th, 2011?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Vice Chancellor Frank Sanchez will now provide an overview of the College of Staten Island student activity fee increase.
So this is action item B, the College of Staten Island student activity fee increase. So this resolution represents an increase of $25 in the full-time and $15 in the part-time student activity fees paid by students at the College of Staten Island. This is the first increase since 1999. This resolution eliminates their earmarking for sports and recreation, replaces it with two new earmarkings for athletics and intramural recreation. It also changes the fee earmarked to most other entities. The additional funding will meet inflationary costs for all programs, improve services to the health center, build an intercollegiate athletic program, refurbish the fitness center, and meet an FCC mandate to convert the college's radio station to digital format. I'll now invite President Morales and other representatives from the College of Staten Island to make any comments and to respond to questions from the committee. President Morales.
Thank you, Trustee Pacelli, Vice Chancellor Sanchez. This is, as Vice Chancellor mentioned, the first fee increase in since 1999. We got extraordinary support from the leadership of the student government. We collected over 1,700 signatures. We struggled with the election, but this is a historical challenge in CUNY, students to vote. But I have been working very closely with the Chief Student Affairs Officer and the President of the Student Government to really reach out and survey our students to see what they are looking for. That's one of the reasons why we decided to bifurcate the intercollegiate athletic fee so that we have a specific amount of dollars to support recreation and intramurals and our fitness center for the use of all students on the campus. I strongly encourage this committee to approve the fee increase. Yes.
Okay, very good. May I ask for a motion to approve the...
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor?
I second it, Madam Chair.
And all in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Approved. Action item C, Baruch College student activity fee increase. Mr. Vice Chancellor Frank Sanchez, please.
So this resolution before the committee represents an increase of $30 in the student activity fee paid by Baruch College undergraduate students in the fall and spring semesters and the summer session to establish a student center building fund to support the acquisition of space as part of the contiguous neighborhood campus. As evidenced by the enclosed letters from student government leaders, this was a student-led initiative. In order to provide the college's commuter campus with the means to recruit and retain the highest caliber students, to enhance student activities and the quality of student engagement, and address the lack of space for more than 180 student clubs, student leadership came to the conclusion that this is an issue that needed to be addressed and made a very bold move to take action on behalf of future Baruch College students. During the fall 2010 semester, the undergraduate student government led an initiative to hold a special referendum to put the matter before the student body. 11%, which I believe was a record for many, many years, a great student turnout. 11% of the eligible students voted in the referendum, voting 83% in favor of the fee increase. Baruch College graduate students plan to hold a referendum this fall to establish a student center building fund fee to be paid by graduate students. It is expected that additional funding will be achieved through philanthropy and investments. The fee will be collected in the same manner as all undergraduate student activity fees. Should this resolution pass, the Baruch College Association will discuss the investment of these funds during its fall 2011 annual meeting. An important provision of the referendum is that in the event that in 5 years' time the acquisition of such a facility has not made satisfactory progress as determined by the allocated body, the fee shall be discontinued and all funds accumulated shall be administered by the Baruch College Association. The university and the college are very well aware of its fiduciary responsibilities regarding these student fees. Over the past few months, we have all worked collectively to address any outstanding issues, and I want to publicly thank Vice Chancellor Schaefer, Vice Chancellor Shaw, Vice Chancellor Weinshaw, as well as Associate Vice Chancellor Matthew Sapienza, Dean Dave Fields, and other respective staffs for their guidance on this matter. I'll now ask President Wallerstein and other representatives from Baruch College to add any comments and to respond to questions from the committee. President Wallerstein.
Thank you, Chancellor Sanchez. Maura?
Please.
We're going to hit the button on the microphone.
I think the explanation that has been provided is rather fulsome. I would just like to emphasize the extraordinary nature of the action that the students took here. I think this is a good example of the classic pay-it-forward strategy, where the students who actually voted to implement this fee, in many cases, will have graduated by the time the student center is established. But they saw the need, particularly the constrained situation. We are something on the order of 108,000 square feet short of the amount of space that the college should have based on the size of the student body. So they're in very cramped conditions in our vertical campus, and the acquisition of the student center will allow for some significant additional space for not only for the student clubs but for a variety of other student activities. We actually have with us today the incoming president of the Undergraduate Student Association, Antonio Alfonso. And I think after Vice President Corpus makes a few remarks, he may want to say a few words as well.
Well, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity. Most certainly, this is a historic moment to have students invest in their future. So much so, it has brought a great deal of momentum and rejuvenation to young alumni, as well as alumni who've been out for quite some time. The president went down to Florida on a visit and met with a number of alumni who were very excited to hear of students who work 2, 3 jobs, part-time jobs to sustain themselves, who come from single-family households, who will invest in themselves to the tune of about $90 a year for space that they know is necessary for extracurricular activities that will broaden their experience, help their networking, help their leadership, and develop their skills as they move forward. The seniors, as the president had mentioned, know that this is a responsibility that they've passed on, so much so that they have a senior class gift that they have put forward, not only that will generate resources, but they challenge themselves to have the most number of participants in this senior class gift in the history of Baruch College. And in talking about the donors, the president thought, well, who else can be interested in this? One of our significant donors saw that this is a significant gesture by the senior class students. And this donor said, you know what, if the students reach 750 participants in donating to this cause, he will write a $30,000 check towards the initiative. Well, we were at 500 just a couple of weeks ago, and we encouraged the student government president at our commencement to take out his cell phone and encourage everyone, because now we have with technology, they can give a donation over their text messaging, and then every single seat was a text message instructions and how to donate to the senior class gift. And we think for sure we'll have those results in a couple of weeks. We will have our goal surpassed. So we're very proud of the momentum that we have picked up. With that, I think I would like to turn it over to our incoming student government president, Antonio Alfonso.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us here. I do want to bring it back to fall 2010 when the whole idea of a student center was first proposed and started gaining some momentum. It was actually a conversation between the current, or rather the president at that time, Ben Gutman, and previous student government leaders. And they were discussing it about how generally we just do not have the space. Student clubs and organizations are all struggling to just find the space to hold the events that are vital to a college. So slowly we developed a resolution as was shown and read earlier today, and very quickly the students got behind the student government itself and started gaining the signatures needed. The 1,300 signatures were gained in less than 3 days actually, and it was absolutely astounding to me as somebody who was out there getting the signatures just how easily they were coming. More often than not, I would just mention to them, don't you think we need more space? And they said yes. And when I proposed a fee, they said gladly. So I was extremely surprised at that, and even more surprised when the vote actually came to in December, when 11%, as was mentioned, a record as far as I've seen, at least in Baruch, and 83% voted in favor, with only a marginal amount saying no. I was absolutely astounded by that. I did not expect those numbers to be anywhere near as high, but I was glad to see that they were. And we all patted ourselves on the back for the future of Baruch. We know we're not going to see it, but we understand that this is something that will help the growth of Baruch College as well as the CUNY system. And we were just happy on that day. And we continue to ask just for your support and your consideration and for the passage of this resolution, because the students really do need the space, and we're making do as well as we can, but it would be much easier, much better, and the vibrancy of student life at the college would really just be tremendously more.
Antonio had mentioned previous student government leader. Actually, 5 previous student government presidents fully support this initiative.
That's fantastic.
There's a fine legacy that you are building upon with this initiative. I'm reminded of in the 60s, where at Queens College, a number of students also decided to embark upon an effort which would not necessarily benefit them, but would benefit future generations. And so you're building and continuing a tradition, and it has to do with the values. What's good is that the values of the student leaders at Baruch are suggesting making this recommendation and carrying it on, and it's so it's so wonderful to see how they're utilizing technology, and they weren't able to do that in the 60s. That type of technology. So you're keeping the values and you're integrating it with the technology that enables us to execute well. So I just, Madam Chair, I just want to speak very favorably to the values that are taking place at Baruch, at business and public administration, where individuals just feel that people are, in this day and age, they're just out for themselves. This shows a selfless action and motivation to help others. So thank you very much for bringing that, and also for both of you in the administration, for being supportive of this effort. It's really good to see.
Thank you.
And I'd also just briefly like to congratulate Antonio for your being elected as a new student body president. It's great to see you already engaged and involved with the governance and leadership processes. And also I want to thank Vice President Corpus for your leadership in really creating a vibrant campus community and getting your students involved and engaged on campus. Those are the qualities that really make for an exceptional campus experience, and I appreciate your leadership with that.
If I may, I think it's just a fantastic job that you guys are doing. I know it's often been said that universities are very largely a community university, where a lot of students would like to just go to the classes and go home. I think this is pivotal, changing our direction from that, getting students more engaged on the campus. So I think that's a great thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Can I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Any opposed? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Approved. The Committee on Student Affairs and Special Programs will now go into an executive session to consider disciplinary appeal. Because the college disciplinary appeal in this case was not open to the public, this session will be closed as well. May I have a motion to go into executive session to hear the student disciplinary appeal?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Committee now moves into executive session. 15 of bylaws of the Board of the Trustees.
This is sort of, has been superseded by events. So these amendments were part of the general bylaw revision. It's been put off till September, and you all knew this was coming, but you probably didn't know until this moment that it's being put off till September, so we can pass this
Okay.
issue by.
It's a notice.
Right.
Item B, notice of amendments to CUNY policy on academic integrity.
So this was before before CAPRA earlier
Right.
today. Because it affects students, we put it on as an information item. At the CAPRA meeting, it was provisionally approved, subject to dealing with some amendments necessitated by comments from the University Faculty Senate, which hopefully we're going to get done this week. And so with those changes, it will be taken to the board at the June meeting.
Very good. Any questions? Okay, and now item C, I'd like to call on Vice Chancellor Sanchez to address the committee, give his report.
Sure, so a couple of report items. Our office continues work with the Council President Student Affairs Special Programs Committee to discuss student fee structures and the bylaws that govern them. Additionally, the committee, an exploratory discussion on a CUNY-wide health and wellness fee. Community discussions have also focused on the new Health Care Act and what implications it will have on CUNY students. As some of you may know, the new healthcare legislation will begin to impact our universities probably by 2014, which will likely impact the type of services and how we deliver services on our campuses. The CUNY Food Policy Advisory Committee is another update. The Offices of Student Affairs and Academic Affairs recently charged the CUNY Food Policy Advisory Committee. The advisory committee will meet approximately every 2 months to review existing CUNY policies on vending machines, contracts with food service vendors, and guidelines for food served at meetings with CUNY, propose changes if needed, and make recommendations for food and nutrition educational programs through CUNY wellness programs. Very quickly, the 2011 CUNY Goodwill Tour team completed a 10-day humanitarian effort in New Orleans this past couple of weeks. The contingent comprised of 30 accomplished student athletes from each of the 16 CUNY campuses that offer intercollegiate athletics, as well as one representative each from Macaulay Honors College, the Malave Leadership Academy, and the University Student Senate. The group did painting and repairs on the homes of 2 families that were affected by Hurricane Katrina. They also painted and repaired a community center and preschool. And that concludes the Vice Chancellor's report.
Are there any questions? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? If none, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Approved? Thank you and have a great summer.